Whoa. Just whoa. A new marathon world record. This time in under 2 hours and 1 minute. KELVIN KIPTUM in Chicago laying down the new time. In only his third marathon as well, wearing the ALPHAFLY 3. 3 clearly is a magic number. It's a lot to take in, so let's break it down. Welcome back to the channel, people. Thanks for joining me. Hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up like. Dankeschön. Amazing scenes in Chicago recently with KELVIN KIPTUM hitting a new world record marathon time. He smashed the record in honesty, didn't he? You have to be in awe of a result like this, and I've got to be honest, I was very surprised. I really did not expect him to hit a world record on this course in any way, though should I have been all that surprised. The man's been throwing down some standout half marathon times since March 2019, a sub 1 hour half in the Netherlands with 59.59, then before that, 59.54 in Portugal and a 59.53 in France in 2019 too. He got a bit quicker though when it came to 2020, 58.42 in December of 2020 in Valencia, and a 59.02 once again in Valencia in October 2021. Now that's some very quick times over the half marathon distance, but the full Snickers is, you know, a different beast. But it does appear with switching to the full marathon that KIPTUM has found his true calling. 2 hours, 1 minute and 53 in December of 2022 at the Valencia Marathon. He does seem to like Valencia, doesn't he? A 2:01:25 win in London, of course, in 2023. Then that insane world record in Chicago of 2 hours and 35 seconds. It's still insane when you think about it. Totally insane. So it's roughly like 2 seconds per mile faster. I was really astounded by KIPTUM's performance in London earlier this year, but this win and world record time really does stamp his dominance on the marathon circuit. Quite how he's able to produce these types of performances being self-coached as well. He doesn't have a particular coach that's working with him. I do believe he's been running with the same people quite regularly, but he was going some way to sort of trying to rein in perhaps our expectation of him before the race. You see the negative split present here for the Chicago performance. Getting in 34 seconds under Kipchoge's record is no joke. So it's well over a second per mile faster than Kipchoge's performance. I think it takes some real courage and some conviction to actually achieve a feat like this. The 5k split leading up to 20k was his slowest, and when I say slow, I don't mean slow, it was still lightning fast. Though you can see he might have had a plan to come in around a specific time for the half marathon distance, laying down 2 minutes 54 per kilometre pace almost religiously throughout the run up to that point. Then he really got up to tempo at around about 30 kilometres, 2 minutes 47 and 2:49 per kilometre. Around this period he must have known he had a good chance of breaking the record, and we've seen him produce that type of increase in pace and effort as well back in London. So a final time of 2 hours and 35 seconds, 4 minutes 33 per mile average, or 2 minutes 50 per kilometre average. So imagine running like 13.2 miles an hour for 26.2 miles. No, I don't think anybody can on earth, other than him. The shoes, well, the shoes. He wore the Kipchoge designed and informed Nike ALPHAFLY 3. Everyone's saying these are a development shoe, but I think now with all the prototype sort of colours and markings on, this is going to be the very first retail version of the shoe that's going to drop reportedly in January of 2024. I was kind of hoping that old Father KIPTUM would perhaps deliver them to us a little bit earlier before Christmas, but we might have to wait. Or it could be a ruse by Nike to try and sell off all of the ALPHAFLY 2s discount price to clear the stocks a bit. This is the same prototype colourway that Kipchoge wore back in Berlin only a few weeks past. I was initially quite amazed that KIPTUM went for the ALPHAFLY over the Vaporfly Next Percent 3. It's perhaps a more logical choice after he wore the Vaporfly Next Percent 2 back in London. Seemed to work very well for him, but the ALPHAFLY does too. Clearly Nike have had KIPTUM on the blower recently to ensure he's got the freshest sneakers on his feet, ready to break this monumental barrier. The sub 2 hour marathon without lasers almost in sight now, only 36 seconds away. Though when you're talking fine margins, you know, the marathon is a long distance thing. It's just little bits that people keep trimming off that time. So it might not be like next year, but maybe soon that they're just slowly getting closer. The close-up images here really showing the shoe off, though I don't see Nike going full-on Jordan brand with these anytime soon. Yes, they did help Kiptum to the fastest marathon ever, though I can't see many people wanting to rock these on a casual basis, although perhaps they're the most sort of sensible version of the ALPHAFLY yet, so it could happen. I have seen people wearing the ALPHAFLY even in the chip shop. The Jordan 1, the Jordan 3s, the 4s and the 5s being absolute bangers still for casual wear. Though the one thing you see that the ALPHAFLY 3 has over the Vaporfly is that air window. That window represents something for Nike, and I'm quite astounded that they're moving away from it with some of their other running shoes. You had air in the tailwind, but you couldn't see it. The Air Max 90 had that big bubble there in the back, and of course those Jordan models. They all had those special air units that people love. And it's something that no other brand has got. It's like that key, unique selling feature. I mean, it's always bewitched me as a sneakerhead. Even when I was a young kid, I used to love those air units. There's just something special about them. Once again, the air unit's at the forefront. It's what breaks it apart from all the other shoes. And this time, it's in the forefoot of the shoe, and everybody's talking about it. I think this is like gold dust for Nike, really. When you go back to the Ineos Challenge, the shoe everybody wanted but couldn't have was the ALPHAFLY. It's of course going to be on everybody's list now to try out for themselves. I of course will be excited to try it, as long as it doesn't have the classic ALPHAFLY "You Know I'm There" arch area, which of course is one of the special features, you know. How much closer do you think Kiptum can get to that 2-hour barrier? You know, he's got to trim more than a second per mile off to get underneath. It's still a little way off yet. He's certainly blown my mind. I didn't expect him to do that at Chicago. Never in a million years, but he did. Do you reckon Nike are now going to step up production of the ALPHAFLY 3 and try and get it out there as quickly as they can to try and capitalize on this fantastic publicity? I mean, you can't make stuff like this, can you? New guy emerges on the scene, third marathon, and breaks the world record. Seems like a good idea to get him out ASAP, Nike. Are you listening? Let me know your Kiptum predictions down in the comments, and if you think perhaps Nike will shock drop that ALPHAFLY 3 in the prototype colorway a little bit before Christmas. I think they'll want to get in on the huge interest that's been generated by this amazing performance from the athlete. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. Musical interlude time. I found another banger from Ram Records. This one's called the Screamer EP from Ram Trilogy. I think it was released like 20 years ago, but it sounds like it was released 20 years in the future. The track I like is called Screamer. It features some bizarre kind of sounds in there you wouldn't normally sort of associate with a drum and bass track. There's these kind of like talk box style vocal effects going on that kind of mold in with the bass sounds. Evil atmospheres at the start. It's ideal really for, you know, a really crazy Halloween party. The drums themselves are smooth, they're polished, and they're incessant, they never stop. Very sort of techno style vibes about this one, and quite an aggressive feel really. I can imagine it being an absolute winner if you're running some very fast repeats, or perhaps doing some sort of tempo run where you really need something quite aggressive to get you through. All I'll say is though, watch the speakers in the Nissan Micra if you're going to crank this one up, because there's some considerable bass there. You might have to dial back the bass a little bit on your sound system to stop the speakers from going beyond their sort of limits, I suppose. Screamer from Ram Trilogy. Thanks for joining me, people. It's always appreciated. Hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up like. Why don't you drop us a super thanks as well to support the channel on a more ad hoc basis. Remember, I am at the Manchester Half Marathon this Sunday. If you're going to be there, give me a shout. I'm hopefully going to do some sort of shakeout run, perhaps in the sort of mid-afternoon time on the Saturday, so I'll put some more details up on the community section of the channel. My name's EDDBUD, and I'll be seeing you.